Hey guys, welcome back to the Mountain Wizard. So I am getting you in on the ground floor here of our latest project. And what that is, a 30-acre parcel that I've purchased. And I'm gonna walk you through some of the steps that I do to get this place ready to build on, okay? So this is, it was a little bit less desirable land is what I look for. It's got steeper terrain to it. And the benefits to the steeper terrain is that really opens up the view and the scenic parts of this area of Oklahoma. So I look for a good terrain, and then I'm also looking for what our view is going to be. Are we going to be overlooking mountains or houses and things like that? And those are all things that I take into account when I'm making this decision. Okay, so what I like to start with first is I am looking for a piece of land, okay? And what I generally end up looking for is land that has been on the market for a little while. I will try to find repossessed land, and I will look for very rugged terrain is generally what I'm looking for. And the reason for that, for me, is the rugged terrain typically ends up being fairly steep, especially here in southeastern Oklahoma. When you have that steep land, you have the opportunity to have killer views like you can't find anywhere else, especially not in Oklahoma. So once you've found this piece of land, wherever it may be, you want to go out and you want to walk it. Before you bother with the realtor and things like that, I will go walk the terrain. I'll go walk the land, get a pretty good feel for where it's at. I want to know how my access issues are, if there are any, what kind of work I'm going to have to do in order to gain access to this property. You know, is it overgrown? Do we have a lot of washouts? How's the road getting to it? And the reason all of that matters is because if we have a junky road, right, we can't get our clients back there to look at the property. We can't get materials delivered, and the issues kind of compound from there. So if your road access is not that great and the terrain is ultra steep and stuff like that, these are all things that you can use to negotiate with the listing agent, and then he can take that to the seller. A lot of times the seller is well aware of the downsides to this potential piece of property, and oftentimes they're willing to negotiate a deal, especially if it's been on the market for a while. You get your piece of land and you have found what you want to build on, right? Well, now your next step is to get that under contract. You've agreed on a price and you want to get that locked up in a contract. What I tend to do, because time is of the essence, is I will get approval after that contract to go in and start cleaning up the land. There is some caveats to this. You have to make sure that you don't do any work that can create a lien against the land and things like that. But generally, I'm removing trash. This particular piece of property, it had an old fifth wheel on it. That's a chore, you know? And I know that there are some scrap people around that are interested in harvesting that, if you will. And so I took pictures of that fifth wheel, measurements, and I posted them on a few different online sites such as Facebook, and somebody came and got it. And now it is not my problem anymore. And they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, build a hay trailer out of it, whatever, right? So you wanna get permission, but then you want to begin cleanup. And the reason you want to start that is time is of the essence. So we have a lot to do and only so much time to do it in. Weather is always a deciding factor. And so we just need to do our due diligence to get things done as quickly as possible. And it takes a long time to get the ball rolling with things. So stay after it, and this will help you be able to move along efficiently. Okay, next, as you can see here, this particular piece of property that I'm dealing with is about 30 acres, but only about 10 of it is pretty good level land up on top of this mountain, okay? And so what I've decided to do is when I got this under contract, and even before when I was walking the property, is I use Onyx, and I go through and I build out my lots or where I want to build a house and where I might want to put a driveway and problem areas and all that. And so I build out my map, okay? And, you know, if you're looking for a piece of place that is just for you, you still want to do this. You want to go in, you want to walk the terrain. You want to build your map for where are you going to want your shop, where are you going to want your house, where are you going to want your driveway to enter, things like this. And so that you have something to go back and reference, and you have something to show your builders and things like that as time goes on. So it helps to keep everybody on the same page. So you are really trying to get them, you're trying to have them a blueprint, if you will, okay? A little bit of a map about what's going on. So during this time, I go ahead and schedule my surveying. On this particular piece of property, I closed on it yesterday. You know, I don't know, at the time of this recording, I don't know when you'll get to see it, but I closed on the property yesterday, and I already have survey markers out here because I scheduled things ahead of time. I knew how things were gonna end up, and so we just go ahead and we started getting work done. But here, I'm gonna show you, this is where the fifth wheel was. Yep, we still got a lot of debris to get rid of, but as you can see, we do not have a fifth wheel to get rid of, and that is huge. The rest of this, we can throw that in a dump trailer and haul it off, no big deal. So, to the fella that came and got that, much appreciated, helped me out of a bind. We don't have to dispose of it. We're not gonna have to cut it up and all of that. I don't have a way to haul a fifth wheel. Just put it for free, man. We don't need anything for it. Let it bless somebody else if that's what they're gonna use it for, their own projects, and roll with it like that. Okay, so for those of you that have been around for a little while, you may have seen the video where I built a cabin over the property line. Very ill-advised, do not do that. So what I have learned from my mistakes, and in fact, had a little bit of a deal with the survey office where we had to get something cleared up because they kind of had in their mind that maybe I wouldn't need all of the markers I asked for. But anyways, so what I did is I broke off a chunk of about 10 acres on this particular parcel, and I decided to make 2.5 acre lots out of that. Reason being for me is the buildability, for lack of another word. I made that one up, I think, is very high on this 2.5 acres. They got the opportunity for a killer view if that's what somebody wants to open it up for. So what we did, or what I did, what I had the surveyors do, is they marked all of my corners, and then I had them mark boundary lines as well. And the reason being is a lot can get kind of small, narrow, you know? And so what I wanted was clear, defined boundary lines. There's no questions asked about whether I built the house across the property line, because here's the truth of it. Yeah, a surveyor's gonna charge you to put extra markers for the property line, okay? But it is far less than moving a house. Trust me, I know. Let me show you here. We've got our corner post here, back in the brush there. I'm gonna walk out this way, but there are 2 more stakes just out through here that I can see. So we're gonna walk on down through here. I like to get a feel for this before I start building or anything like that. And by golly, right there is another, we got another one down here. The stakes, it's like it takes them a little bit of time and they're gonna charge you for it. But the headache that it releases, alleviates, right, by just having this done is so nice. Oh, here's another marker right up there. And we're just gonna keep on following these. And this will allow us to be able to build here and not have to worry about being over a property line. And the way this piece of property will lie, or the way it will work out, is they have the option when they purchase a house or cabin here, they have the option to add more land or leave it as a 2.5 acre lot at this particular zone. So they can come in here. If they like the price, they can buy this house, cabin, whatever I decide to build here, and 2.5 acres, or they could add another lot or more land to the south. If they add land to the south, they really open up that opportunity to open up the view, because if they purchase land to the north in this particular cabin or particular land, they really open up the opportunity, here's another one, to, and this is just property line is what they wrote on there. That's not a corner, so that means I get to still keep on going. 2.5 acres is a lot bigger than you think. I will put it to you like that. There's definitely room to explore. Okay, so with this particular piece of property, yep, they've got room where they could purchase more land to the north and really be able to, I'm looking for this other property boundary, and really be able to open up the view. So that's why I do it this way. But not everybody wants more land. Some folks are very content with just having a smaller parcel and kind of rolling with it like that. So I'm gonna walk off through here and I'm gonna find this corner post, and I'd just like to get a feel for this land now that it is marked off. All right, so I hope you found that useful. Really just wanna give you some knowledge, pass along some knowledge on how I go about dealing with this. You know, this is gonna be several building spots here on this property, unless somebody decides that they want more acreage. And really, we're just getting into it. Like, you know, this is the startup phase. So I like to walk it, get an idea of where I'm gonna want the house built, where I'm gonna want a driveway put in, and how and where I do other things, right? And I have to keep in mind too, that as I build these and where I build them, I don't want the next house to be visible from the last one. So I have to keep that in mind. And that is another reason why I get the extra stakes, put in property line boundaries so that I really have something to work with. But with very minimal tree removal, this piece of property could have some killer views that are second to none and really just give you that, it's hot. It's not just hot, it's steep hill. My cardio lacketh. Okay, nice views. Yeah, it's kind of hard to show you through there, but I mean, like right through there, there's good views. And cameras never do justice, but I can bring my tree crew out and we can trim all this up. In fact, that's what I'll do this week, is schedule them. Here's another property line marker. Still got plenty of stuff to have to clean up over there. And there's just stuff all through the woods. And that is part of how we're able to get these pieces of property. So you just have to go out and look. Like, don't be afraid of the work. You're gonna have to get out there if that's what you're looking for, right? Get out there and walk some land. Look for the land nobody else wants if you want a good deal on it. And if that's not your case or whatever, then no big deal, right? But there's gonna be enough money going into the land and getting it built up to what you need and what you want that, you know, you have to weigh it out whether you want or are interested in the sweat equity that comes in with that. So I hope this helps. And if you've got any questions, thoughts, comments, all that stuff, leave them in the comment section down below. I do my darndest to reply to every comment. Something I pride myself on. If I overlook one or whatever, my apologies. Email is mountainwizard21@gmail.com. Send me an email if you got other questions or whatever, but reach out and hopefully the next video, we will be a little bit farther along with this project. All right, folks, we'll catch you all in the next one. Mountain Wizard out. See ya.